Hey, how's it going, guys? Sorry for jumping up everybody's feeds and subscriber feeds, but yeah, once again, trying to break YouTube. You guys know how that goes. So here I am. I'll probably have like I think three other bookmarks set up, but for some reason none of them want to work. So once again, I apologize for all that. So hopefully people can find like number four I set up, but nonetheless. We're going to go ahead and truck along like we usually do and see if anyone actually joins this one and figures it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about, once again, what I read last week. So once again, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I go live every time on this channel, every Tuesday. So once again, kind of a light week for me. I found some good back issues at my shop at least. But I did get four current issues. I decided to get the Immortal Hulk number 12. I thought this was issue one of the new story arc. I guess it's issue two because I have no clue what is going on in Immortal Hulk. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty fun read. I definitely want to go get the other ones on the rewind, basically, I guess you could say. There was no issue 11 at about three stores I stopped at. So thanks for making it chatty. I'm glad at least one person found where I am keeping my hidden live stream, I guess, tonight because once again, you guys know me at this point. I can break YouTube easy, apparently. So yeah, YouTube's broken tonight. It's Tuesday, so there we go. But nonetheless, Immortal Hulk. I think this is the first appearance of the One Below All or something like that. Like I said, I have no clue what's going on. 12 issues in, but this thing was sold out everywhere. So I'm like, I keep hearing good things. I want to get on board the Immortal Hulk train, see what's going on. So there we go. Immortal Hulk number 12. What's going on, TJ? How's it going? We got TJ, the Slab Dragon, in the house. How's it going? The next book, we've got Shazam number 2. So not too bad of an issue. I thought this was a little bit of a step back in terms of action and pacing. Like you see all these like fun Shazam's eyes kids on the cover. I don't think any of them actually, use the power of Shazam in this comic. They kind of go to this like fantasy fun park that's in a magic train station. So once again, it's kind of a fun Jeff Johns read. So I still recommend it. We'll see where they go, but I thought this slowed down the momentum that issue one had a little bit. But still excited to see what Jeff Johns is going to go because I know he's going to have fun with Shazam. Next up, we've got Exorcisters number 4. This book continues to be a lot of fun, laugh out loud moments. You got, the two sisters, Kate and Kate, and they just keep getting caught up in these mystical shenanigans. And it seems like every issue they had like one thing to their little continuity they got going on so far because they're only 4 issues in. Like they got like a guy, an ex-boyfriend who's like a mosquito stuck in a jar. So yeah, it's pretty funny. So you got the main Kate on top of the cover here. The Kate on the bottom who is going into the portal of hell is actually the soul of this Kate, but she was trapped in hell for so long. She's just her own character now, and her soul can't be put back into the sisters. So they decide, screw it, we're going to be sisters. So I very much like this book. It's a lot of fun. Maybe my pick of the week last week, just because, like I said, it was a light week. Nothing really blew me away, but nonetheless, you guys know me at this point. I love me some Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was a little sad to see it go from Dark Horse, but trying to keep track of those Dark Horse books, it is getting a little bit convoluted. I'll be honest. When I read it for Dark Horse, I read the whole season 8 storyline, which I had a lot of fun with. And then I kind of toned out around seasons 9, 10. I think there might have been a season 11 too, but I think season 12 was the last one where they had like the 4-issue miniseries. And that one was pretty fun to catch up with because it was easy to get into. It was only 4 issues, so it was an easy read there. But if you had no clue, if that was your first time buying a Buffy comic, you were screwed, basically. So nonetheless, this is kind of like your ultimate Spider-Man Buffy type reboot. So you get modern day Buffy. They have cell phones and stuff in the Buffyverse now. So and you get to see her meet Xander and Willow for the first time, and she's already working at a fast food joint. So nonetheless, you get to see all those shenanigans, and you get a little bit of Anya and Drusilla toward the end. So who doesn't love that? So I guess technically, by default, my pick of the week Before I keep going into the extra stuff I got, let's get into the chat. We got Comic Spectre. How's it going, Comic Spectre? Glad you can make it into the chat. Like I said, hopefully everyone's kind of finding it okay tonight. We're just too busy breaking YouTube, trying to schedule one of these like I do every single Tuesday, and I end up probably just junking up everybody's feeds out there. So once again, apologies for that. I'm blaming YouTube on this one because I tried to sign in 3 different browsers, and not one of them recognized I scheduled an event. It would just schedule the event and then leave it there. So I think I have like 4 chats, 3 other chats of people waiting. So once again, apologize for that. We've got Silver Age Dave. How's it going, Silver? I know he had a live stream himself earlier. So once again, very glad to see Silver back involved in the community. He has a collection like no other. We've got Comic Head 84. How's it going, man? I believe he has a contest going. He just stopped smoking, so he's having a contest. So big congratulations to Comic Head 84, because I know that is not an easy battle. So check out his channel. This guy subscribed to me during Silver's feed, I believe. We got Jason 3000. How's it going, man? That kind of reminds me of Jason X. I love it. So glad you guys are making your way in here. Great Legend always recommends this read. And my store was having like a 50, they have like a weird, crazy sale going on. They keep escalating the percentage off. So this last Thursday, they had certain shelves that were 55% off. And this was one of the books that was sitting on that shelf. So the Six Gun Volume 1 started off by Ani Press as a $10 book. So I got this for $4.50. So I figured, hey, why not finally try out the Six Gun? I've never read any of this at all. I don't read tons of Cullen Bunn. Sorry, I saw a gun on the cover there, I guess. So figure for $4.50, we're going to give this a shot. So I'm going to put that on my read pile for tonight. And then he actually got some new sets in. So at my local shop, it's always a phenomenal day to go in when this guy puts sets out, because he prices individual books, according to the price they're worth. For some reason, he likes to sell some sets. Unfortunately, the sets were not on sale, but they may as well have been. I've got G.I. Joe Transformers. He had the entire 4-issue miniseries for $8. So I figured, why not go ahead and purchase this? I mean, I got all the other G.I. Joe books. I got a healthy collection of Transformers. So I got to have the crossover, right? And every single book in this, wait a minute. Sorry, this new light's making me thirsty. I apologize. We got 4 newsstand copies of G.I. Joe Transformers. So look forward to cracking those open. And I know this book was hot last summer. Apparently it's cooled off now because we've got the entire Venom Lethal Protector 6-issue miniseries. I think I paid $10. So I think this one alone he had on his wall for $15 previously. So I'm like, why not just get the whole collection for $10? Because I think even issue 4, first appearance of the villain from the Venom movie, yay, I guess. So looking forward to actually having this whole run for $10. So really nice deal there. Couldn't pass that one up. Sorry, just now getting the stuff out of the bag. I actually hit the road to Chicago last weekend, so some of it ended up staying in the bag because I just threw it in my luggage on my way up. All right, let's see who else we've got in the chat. I've seen some more people hop in. We've got Prowler671. Hey, saying hi to Dave. Glad to have you in the chat once again, Prowler. We've got Comic Books NYC. How's it going? Man, everyone just saying hi to Silver. I love it. He deserves it, though. He's great. And what else? We got Metarog. What's going on, Raj? Glad you can make it in the chat. Yesterday, he had his awesome No Faces chat over on Bub's Comics channel. Unfortunately, DS Comics was out. But those 3 guys, even when it's 2 of the 3, they always have a great live show every Monday night around 7 p.m. Eastern. Fortunately, I usually have to close Monday nights, but luckily I was able to catch some of it this time around live. So like I said, I always recommend those guys. They got a really fun chat that they do every single Monday night. But today, besides the YouTube crap that is no luck there, but I had some half-price books luck finally. It's been a little bit of a dry spell for me in half-price books this year. I think they caught on. Somebody else in the city must have caught on to how cheap their books were because, man, I just have not found anything since probably last December. But I went in today and it's like I hit the not really jackpot, I guess you could say, in terms of like awesome books and that stuff, but just the fact that I caught them while they were stocking their shelves. So to the point where I was actually like asking if they had any more books behind the counter, and the guy was actually really nice and just set all the short boxes and long boxes he had on this little table. The ones at least he got processed. So now I got to go back in about 3 days to see what they wouldn't show me. So nonetheless, I got this entire stack of books for $10. All I had to do was bag and board a couple of them, which, hey, who cares about that? So I'll try to identify the ones I paid $1 for, ones I paid 50 cents for, and the ones I paid 20 cents for. But before I do that, everyone's finally finding the chat, hopefully. So I want to say hi to these people just now hopping in. We've got Robert Galvin. What is going on, Robert Galvin? I'm happy to see you finally caught up live in the chat. One of the best guys in the community, Robert Galvin. And we've got JPL Flash Comics Geekdom. He does another one of my favorite live shows. I know sometimes him and Comic Geek McD will go live Tuesday afternoons for me. I'm sure it's Tuesday evenings for those guys. But they always have a great live stream as well. Usually when they do it, it's on Tuesdays. But they're always busy with college and university and that stuff. So glad you can make it in, JP. I'm sure he's either getting ready for bed or has been in bed for a while over on the other side of the pond. And we've got Who Dat Comics and Movies. How's it going, Who Dat? I know he just probably finished up a live stream himself. I saw when I was messing with all this YouTube crap, he was finishing up his live stream. So hopefully I didn't step on his toes too bad. But I'm always happy to see Who Dat in the chat. Once again, I got to take my drink of water. This new blinding light. We got Bake the Snake. He says, yo, what's going down? Who else do we have? I think everyone's just saying hi to each other. Robert Galvin says it's -17 where he is right now. Wow. Whew. That's why I had to wear the flannel this week. A little bit chilly here. We got Joe Ryan Comics. He says, yo, Seawood. How's it going, Joe Ryan? Glad you can make it in. All right, without further ado, we will show the Half-Price Books haul. So the first one I picked out, this is one he just dropped in the bin right in front of me. We got Daredevil volume, I don't know. Like I said, the Marvel volumes, I'm not going to pretend to keep track of and knowing that stuff. But nonetheless, this is issue 7 of the Mark Waid run. This, I think, is the standout issue of the Mark Waid run. It is a phenomenal single issue read. If you guys pick up that early Mark Waid Daredevil stuff, I highly recommend issue 7. I actually already have a copy of this signed by Mark Waid, so next time I'm part of a live auction, which will probably be next Wednesday on All About Comics. Assuming since it's the first Wednesday of the month, he's going to go ahead and do that next week at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll probably just drop this in someone's winnings if I actually sell something on there. So, yeah, this is a very good read. Basically, if you guys haven't read it, there's like a school bus full of kids, and Daredevil get caught in a snowstorm, more or less. So, hey, it's -17 out, probably -17 in this comic. But nonetheless, Matt Murdock, in his senses, they're not the best in the middle of a blizzard, obviously, with the howling wind and extra snow. Like, the vibrational senses and that weird stuff that he has going on with his basically powers, it messes with him. So he basically, in this book, is a blind lawyer. So it's up to him as an adult to lead the kids who are helping him see out of the snowstorm back to New York City. So just a very nice one-shot here. And you get awesome art by Paulo Rivera on the inside. He was the regular on this title at the time. So I highly recommend this issue if you see it. Usually it's in dollar bins now. I was kind of hoping to get a cover A of the first issue of that Mark Waid run. But hey, I'll settle for an issue 7 because it's very good. Shout out to my boy Poor Man's Comics out there. He said if you see Ferris, pick it up. So I got a Ferris issue number 11. Just a beaut Adam Hughes cover there. So always very nice to get some Adam Hughes in the bins. So I thought that was a pretty cool, like, I could call it a ketchup stain. So there you go. That's blood. Why not? So Ferris number 11. Thought that was a really nice, just like green cover there with some blood splattered on it. So I thought that was cool. Next up, when you see these 4 guys on the cover at the same time, you kind of just get the book if it's in the dollar bin. So you've got Fantastic Four issue 348 with the new Fantastic Four on it, or I guess the new Fantastic Four. Nah, it didn't have a good ring to it. So thought that was a cool book to find in the bin. So I just put it on the pile while I was buying stuff. And shout out to Spidey fan. I know he loves him some photo covers. So when I saw this one, I had to pick it up. Even though it was originally $0.25, I paid $1 for it because you got some Battlestar Galactica Zero, pretty awesome Scion number 6 Trisha Helfer cover. You can't go wrong with Trisha Helfer covers from the mid 2000s. So there you go. Sorry, there's the old light and the new light. So there you go. So just a beautiful cover there. Love it. Next up, I have no idea what this book is. It was just an image number 1. I thought it looked really cool, and I've read a little bit of Cy Spurrier, and I thought his work was cool. But we got Cry Havoc number 1. Figured why not get it for it? I would have bought the whole run, but it was like the opposite day at Half Price Books. Someone bought all the issue 2s, so there's like issues 1, 3, and 4 of this for some reason. So I was like, I'll get the first issue, and then that way I'll lock it. If I like the other ones, I can at least go back and get 3 and 4 because now no one's gonna buy it because they don't have the issue 1. So that's usually the strategy at that Half Price Books. Next up, when I saw this guy popping in New Teen Titans, I have to go immediately stop what I'm doing and go where this guy's working at. So I believe most of this is from the 85 second volume for Perez and Wolfman, but you got New Teen Titans 18. Actually, I think, Eduardo Barreto took over from this point, but you still had Marv Wolfman writing. So this one is issue number 18. So I figured why not for $1? I'll start filling these in too. I'm trying to get that first volume from 1980, but figure I'd start buying these up too before someone else did because this stuff wasn't going to last long. Did leave a few doubles that I already have laying in the bins because, like I said, I'm trying not to get those doubles, but I at least had to start getting these. Hopefully by the time I go in next time, I'll have some more. And there's issue 8 of that same run, just a wonderful cover there. I'm pretty sure that's definitely some Perez goodness. I have zero clue what this next book is, but I had a Ninja Turtle looking character on it. I don't know if someone's going to get sued for copyright infringement. I'm guessing this was Eastman and Laird approved because it does say Ninja Turtles on the top. But this is the last of the Viking Heroes Summer Special number 2 with a hideous looking Ninja Turtle on it. But hey, it had turtles on it, so I had to have it. So for $1, I was like, what in the hell is this? I have no clue, but hey, we're buying it. So there we go. Weird turtle book where he has fangs, the weird tail on the bottom, but at least it sort of resembles Raphael. I don't know. So there's that. Here's one I can never pass up for $1. We've got X-Men Alpha number 1. Shiny 90s Chromium. 90s-ified goodness. I love this book as a kid. So once again, it's probably one of those drop-ins eventually. If I sell some stuff on auction, someone's probably going to get a copy of X-Men Alpha number 1. But this is one of those ones when I was a kid, I love this book. So it's always a lot of fun to get these 90s Chromiums. So another copy of that for the pile. Back to Teen Titans. We got annual number 2 with a lot of great artists. You got John Byrne, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and what else do you need besides a little bit of George Perez in there, maybe? But just an awesome annual there. We got Iron Man 235. I think the ones without the stickers were the 20 centers. I've already lost track. Oh, no, I still got that pile over here. Good. I was like, I know I have some 20 and 50 centers in here. But cool Bob Layton goodness. Newsstand. So there's that. Just a beautiful Iron Man cover. So I knew, so as I saw this one get dropped in, I'm like, that's not going to last more than a day. So I went and picked it up. This one was sitting on the guy's counter. So I was like, yeah, you don't even need to put that out. Marvel 2-in-1 number 5. Slowly trying to pick up this run too through dollar bins. And I know once again the great legend, he talks up this run big time. So I'm trying to slowly collect these. I think I've actually collected all but maybe 2 or 3 through the dollar bins of the same half price books. So happy to get that. Eventually I want to collect them all so I can read them at once. Got a cool David Mack Daredevil 51 from the actually this was when Brian Bendis took a break on the run, so it's just David Mack. I believe this was an Echo solo story, but man, just look at that awesome David Mack art. And he does the insides too, and it's just a beaut. So happy to find that book for $1. And we've got Daredevil number, I think it's 17. We got some all red action in here as well from the Mark Waid run. So I knew he did 1 or 2 issues that were with the all reds. So luckily I found one of those because I was missing this in my Daredevil Waid run. So very happy with that. All right, before I get into the next little stack I got today, let's go back up into the chat because you guys have been blowing it up and I've had a chance to read stuff yet. All right. So Who Dat says I wasn't feeling well and didn't want to go long on the video, so he's doing a part 2. So yeah, hope you get well, man. I'll definitely be watching the rest of part 1 and watching that part 2 whenever I get time. Unfortunately, I try to do a little bit of prep work for these things sometimes, and then headaches with YouTube happen. All right, who else do we got? We got John's Comics with Kids. How's it going? I think he's having a secret something or other contest. Shh, there you go. So I think I'm double disqualified. So glad to have you in the chat, John's Comics with Kids. Metarog says, "Hey, second print, Fantastic Four." So that's kind of cool. I guess I didn't realize that was a second print, but hey, that's cool. Everyone's saying hi. We got Stay Puff 1983. What is going on, Stay Puff? I've been having fun following his Instagram last week. He's counting down like his favorite Royal Rumbles. And I believe, if I remember, his first one was the 92 Rumble with Nature Boy Ric Flair winning the 92 Rumble. That's my favorite one, too. You can't beat the 92 Rumble. They've tried a few times, but it just can't be done. So absolutely love the 92 Rumble. We got Don Mazur in the chase, says rocking the new lighting. Yeah, I used the strategy that Chad gave me. I covered it up with a dryer sheet. Not only does it, keep me from going blind, it doesn't smell too bad now. So thank you for that, Comic Core Chad. We've got the boy who had 7 in the chat. He says, Buenos nachos, amigos. So happy to have Boy 7 in the chat. Barbarian Kung Fu, he says, what's up, y'all? How's it going, Barbarian Kung Fu? Let's see, just run down. I think I got everybody, hopefully. If not, say something so I can call you guys out. All right, so let's see what my next little stack. Same haul still. I think the next 2 are 20 centers. So I've had like a million copies of this. I feel like I've bought the last month or so. Youngblood number 2. That's like the first profit. Once again, you're buying this book for lots of money. You're not going to earn no profit. I'm telling you that right now. So I know JP from All About Comics, he's talking in the Comic Core chat about how people are specking on this book. No, it's a quarter bin book all day. Absolutely it is. I found this is my 4th copy I found for 20 cents. So if anyone's looking for Youngblood number 2s, hit me up, I guess. Otherwise, I'll probably just keep giving away for free because every time I see this, I just kind of laugh at it. Somehow ends up in the pile for 20 cents. So gotta love that. Kind of like the X-Men Alpha. The other books I pick up every time I see them. I love these 90s-ified Deathmate books. Of course, Deathmate Black's the best one because first Gen 13, very early Jim Lee, J. Scott Campbell work in there. But hey, you got to get the other ones too. I just love these. There's the red one, the yellow one, and the blue one as well. And then I never see those crazy variants. I think there were like some variants of this. They're like platinum or gold or something like that. I don't know. It was the 90s, so they probably had all of the above. But hey, 20 cents, I'll pick up Deathmate because it's fun. And then I got 4 books from behind the counter. The guy said, I probably, honestly, if I knew what the prices were behind the counter, I probably would have picked up a lot more. I just picked up these 4 books. I'm like, dude, I appreciate you putting there how much you want for them. And he's like, since they're not a bag and board, 50 cents. I'm like, crap, I don't want to waste any more of this guy's time because I kind of just stopped him working on this whole stack so I could be selfish and look, but hey, comic books, man. So I got each of these for 50 cents, and we'll let you guys judge if I did good or not. So I got Silver Surfer 49. Once again, 50 center. So you don't see these early Silver Surfers too often for too cheap. Well, I guess not really early, coppery. We'll put it that way. Maybe technically even modern, but hey, it was around that Infinity Gauntlet time where he had Ron Lim working on the title. So always love to get some Ron Lim stuff. Trying to fill out that part of the collection. We have Firestorm, The Nuclear Man, issue 2. Unfortunately, I still don't have an issue 1 in the collection, but hey, I figured I would be silly to pass up an issue 2. But what in the world is going on this cover? Someone tell me what is grabbing Firestorm there. So yeah, I kind of had to pick it up. I'm going to call this a Pope Grimy book if I ever saw one. So yeah, I'll let you judge that character. I have no idea. So someone may be able to tell me what character that is. It kind of looks like a Golgothan demon from Dogma to me. So we'll leave it at that. Had to get some Mike Turner for 50 cents. So I got a Fallen Son Death of Captain America. And it has 2 Hawkeyes on the cover. One is Kate Bishop, and who loves I love me some Kate Bishop. I know a lot of other people do too. So cool Mike Turner stuff there. Can't leave him laying in the bins for 50 cents. And last but not least, found another copy of this at the half price. But I think this is my third copy of this I found at the same store. Wolverine number 80, the X23 test tube. So figured why not get 50 cents, newsstand, all that good stuff. So yeah, thought that was a cool 50-cent find because I know some people are still looking for that book out there. So that was everything I picked up in the last week. So cool. I actually ended up going through a half hour talking about just showing comics. Okay, Prowler specifies that on the Firestorm cover, that is Smoke Man. So he is made of smoke. Someone tell the callers this is smoke. So, yeah, thank you, Prowler. Thank you for identifying this character. All right, so let's go back into the chat before we get into our topics of the night. Bake says, snitches get stitches. I think they're talking about John's contest, maybe. John says, speaking of the contest, there are just a couple days left, so the cat's out of the bag here. So if you guys want to check out a good contest, check out John's Comics with Kids contest. So click the link on his channel if you're not subbed up. Make sure you're subbed up to him. And speaking of contest, sub up Metarog. If you guys need to be in the know on the whole community contest roundup, Metarog is your guy to check out. He's kind of taken up the Silver Age Dave mantle, which, kudos to both those guys for even thinking about doing that because that's awesome. But right now, Metarog is the posted champion of keep track of the contest, especially since it turned like mid-January. Everybody's brought back the contest because in December everyone was kind of busy with Christmas, so it got dialed back. But Metarog, he's been keeping everybody on the in the know, like Discovery Bay Comics out there in terms of what's going on in the community and when. So thank you guys for that. Silver Age Dave says, he said it's okay to shout out, but it diminishes your chances. Not that I know anything about that. So whoops. Stay Puff says, I watched some of the Royal Rumble review you did with Legend. Great job so far. Got to watch the rest of it. Yeah, thanks, man, for checking some of that out. We had a lot of fun last Sunday. It was a late Sunday, though, for the Royal Rumble. We had a review on the Great Legend Show channel. We had the usual pay-per-view review crew of myself, Comic Core Chad, the host Great Legend, Bueller, and Bueller brought with him the architect Sam's Tangled Web as a guest panelist because since it was the Royal Rumble, it was a big match, we needed a bigger panel for the Royal Rumbles. So we had a lot of fun talking about that. So if you guys want to know my thoughts after the video, I'll try to put all the links back below again. So I already did that like 3 times tonight. I finally just gave up, flipped on the live switch on the other feed. So yeah. Spidey fan, how's it going, Spidey fan? Glad you can make it. He says, hi everyone, how about Nia Jax? Oh yeah, Nia Jax, 2 Royal Rumbles in one night. That's got to be some sort of record, right? So she is officially in the history books. Future Hall of Famer Nia Jax. There you go, calling it first. We've got Robert Galvin saying his favorite buddy. So glad to have you in the chat once again, Galvin. You're amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. All right. Matarog clarifies every Thursday is his contest roundup. So definitely, once again, sub him up because he's doing some great work for the community. And we also have, speaking of people who do great work, we've got David from Beyond the Blast Doors in the chat. He says, it's Tuesday. Yeah. It's Tuesday. At least I try to brighten the early part of the week, especially with my new light. We're brightening things, hopefully. So, yeah, glad to have you in the chat. Once again, if you guys like Star Wars, just sub the guy up. It's easy. It's as easy as 2 + 2 is something. 4. Just kidding. I know that. Duh. And we've got Foxy's Geek Corner. Glad to have you in the chat. Welcome. Everybody sub up Foxy's Geek Corner. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. So, all right. So we've got a bevy of topics tonight. So sometimes, when you run, I guess we're up to 30 of these things. What am I thinking? But anyway, once you go into like Livestream 30 plus Comic Core every Friday night, it's 10 p.m. Eastern, you never know what's going to happen on the Comic Core. You start the run a little thin on topics. So what I decided to do this week is I decided just to drop more or less like a suggestion or comic box type post and the Comic Core community chat, which I still haven't turned back on the notifications, but nonetheless, I always enjoy typing and having fun with the Comic Core people in the chat. So there's a whole community of people. So hop on the Facebook bandwagon if you guys want to be a part of that chat. It's a lot of fun. Just make sure to turn those notifications off because it can get a little crazy and kill your battery instantly. But what I decided to do this week is like I'm just kind of burned on topics. I didn't have the half price book haul at the time, so I literally had 4 books and a trade and 2 collections to show, and that was it. So I just, was like, if anyone has anything they want me to talk about, just go and post it. I'll probably talk about it. So I had 3 people respond to me, and I think they're all 3 pretty awesome questions. And where I want to start tonight is with JD's post. So once again, I'm going to try to put all these people's links below after the video. And JD wanted me to talk about digital. I know it's kind of a hot button topic in the whole community, especially since we're a niche collecting community with physical media with poop smoke monsters on their covers. But I figured the main question he has is digital worth it? I think he was kind of referring to services like Marvel Unlimited and your Netflix style comic book services like that. So what I've decided to do, I tried to put together a pros and a cons list of digital versus physical media. So I'll just go ahead and get into the digital pros. And please, if you guys have comments, I would really appreciate the comments in the box, whether it be below on the rewind later or in the live chat right now, because I think this is one of the biggest topics we could talk about on this chat. Hopefully, Comic Core chat, I'm probably going to make them talk about it on Friday. Spoilers. But we're going to go ahead and get into the pros. And you guys can feel free to disagree with me, please, on this, or concur and add to it. But the digital pros I came up with. So the first bullet point I put out is convenience. Obviously, I can get like an iPad. I can use my phone. I could just be sitting at work on my lunch, and I'd be like, I want to read a 6-month-old Marvel comic, and I can get on my phone, read a Marvel Unlimited comic, and all that good stuff. I can also go on the road and read a full run of Infinity Gauntlet like I've done previously. So I think that's easier than trying to get all this stuff behind me and take it on the road. So just in terms of that, we've got convenience. Also, once again, speaking of convenience, it's easier to read full runs. So when I started to collect Swamp Thing, I was like, I really want to read this Alan Moore run. Coincidentally, when I bought that, DC streaming app put most of that Swamp Thing up until issue 35 on their app. So I'm like, no, I don't even need to put my fingerprints on my own comics. So I ended up, I was out of town. My friends, I visited them. They're a little bit hungover, as was I. So I'm just like, nothing was really going on. I was like, I'm just gonna see if Swamp Thing's on there, and it was. So decided just to go ahead and read that, and I blew through like a whole run of Swamp Thing, and it was super easy just because you finish the issue, the app works correctly, it transitions right into the next issue. So it's kind of like watching, once again, something on Netflix or Hulu where, your show ends, the credits roll, and then they're countdown to the next episode starts, and it's like you're just, chain watching that stuff. So I think it's easy to read full runs, but you can make the same argument that you can just go get a trade. But hey, some of these omnibuses, they're not light. The next point is it doesn't take up an entire room. It can be held in the palm of your hands, whereas, there's a lot of comics back there behind me, but hey, sometimes you love having that big wall behind you of comic books. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, it's when you're talking an entire room's worth of stuff, it's kind of nice just to be able to hold it in the palm of your hand. And like I said already, easy to take on the go with you. You don't even need to think about it. Just if you're in a hotel room, it's like, I'm bored. Like, I don't want to go spend any money anywhere. You can just stay in like, oh, I'm going to read a comic, just as simple as turning on your TV and watching a TV show now. So that's pretty nice. And the last one, just because, like I said, I was just throwing everything out there. It doesn't waste paper. Well, you think this grows on trees or something? Sorry, bad joke, I know. All right, so those are the pros. So let's see if you guys have anything going on in the chat, and then we'll get to some cons. Let's see. Galvin says, it's awesome when it comes to Star Wars. Beyond the Blast Doors is awesome. I agree 100%, Robert. Beyond the Blast Doors says, did you get a new light or camera? Shot looks different, looks crisp. Yeah, I got this shop light up here for $10 yesterday. It was on clearance at work, so I'm like, $10. I'll see if what it looks like when I go live on the camera. I think it definitely brightens a little bit. Unfortunately, I can't hold if I hold stuff close to the camera, as you can see, there's definitely a darkness wall that starts where the shadows start. But hey, I think it gives the shot a cleaner look. Hopefully, it does on your end as well. We got Kakarot in the chat. How's it going? He says, cheers. So, unfortunately, I'm just drinking some water tonight because I got to work really early tomorrow. So, cheers to you. Comic Spectre says, digital versus physical. It's like boobs. Everyone loves looking at them, but I would rather have them in my hand. So, there's a quote for you guys. That's pretty good. Let's see. Joe Ryan Comics says, I am physical, but I do sub to Marvel Unlimited to read all of the awesome older books without having to touch those precious, valuable books or spending all that money. No, absolutely. If you guys are pretty condition sensitive with your books, once again, it's just nice to be able to get that iPad out, not have to worry about creasing the pages, damaging the spine, all that good stuff. So once again, that's another pretty good point by Joe Ryan Comics. Metarog brings up an awesome point, though. I know Chad from the Comic World will agree with this one. He says nothing like the smell of an older comic is intoxicating, figuratively. Yeah, and sometimes I know Chad. He likes to get his comics, and he has that it's almost like smelling a pack of ball cards when you open them. I know some ball card collectors know about all that. So you open it up and you get that nice new paint smell. But, and then the older stuff has that same. There's like a different smell and touch to it. So you can't really describe it, obviously. That doesn't happen with your cell phone. So let's see what else. We got John's Comics with Kids. He says, I like both. I will always buy physical copies, but catching up on backstory is super easy to read digital, and I can protect any key books by leaving them in their bags and boards. Absolutely. Oh, man, here we go. We got Mr. White Gloves himself, Splash Page Comics. He is going to tell you in the chat exactly why physical is the way to go, I'm sure. So he showed up just in time for the digital argument. I assume once I said the word digital, Splash Page would make his way in the chat, and I'm so glad he did. So I'm looking forward to reading his comments coming up. Chad says, I'm so excited about having to see Woodard 19 there to fight Return of the Comic Corps. Yeah, so we'll have to come up with some topics, but I know the Comic Corps, they had a great live show last Friday. They said they missed me though, so I'll definitely have to catch up. I think I finally got the rest of that show watched. So 10 p.m. Eastern. You never know what's going to happen on the Comic Corps every Friday night. Let's see what else you guys got going on. Silver says, I have a community question video for tomorrow. It's along this line. Yeah, that's cool, man. I definitely want to see the responses you get, Silver. So I know you'll have some great stuff and great points to make. Need to make a candle with that smell, says Splash. That's awesome. We got Justin from Exile State Comics. How's it going, man? Who that says, hey, I have a question. Wonder if we're going to get to see that question. We'll keep going and find out. All right. We're gaining Beyond the Blast Doors a new subscriber. That's awesome. Who that says, I do not know how to do it. How do I add people to make them the blue wrench on my channel? So usually who that, if it's in the chat, if I comment and I'm on your channel, there's like 3 dots I can click on. And then it should give you the options to do that, I believe. There's Splash. He says, oh, man, not digital. What would I use my white gloves for? So there you go. All right, I think we got to all the pros. So we're going to talk some cons. And this is where I want to really hear you guys shout out in the chat. Because unfortunately, I didn't play because it was 7:30. But I came up with 4 cons. So just 4. And the number one, I think, is the biggest one. You don't support your local shop when you buy off your phone. So in my opinion, that's the number one, big ding, 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 con for digital. So if I buy a comic book online, guess what? My comic shop doesn't know that or see a dime from that. So, and I've only got one local shop in this whole surrounding area here. So I like to support them as much as I possibly can. But yeah, that's probably the biggest con for me is just you don't support the local shops. My next one is you own it, but you don't own it. What I mean by that is if you buy something, I'm thinking mainly the video game scene, but it could easily, the same thing could happen in comic books. And it may have in many instances already. So I know there's been video games in the past. You buy, like, I bought digital stuff on the Xbox 360, for instance. 10 years down the line, you still may own that, but then you have like a studio will be bought out or Disney will buy Marvel and weird things will happen. And then for some reason, if you don't have the game downloaded on one console and you want to download it on a new one when you upgrade, it might not be there anymore. So in comics, if you're Marvel Unlimited, your DCs, they can take stuff out or take stuff down whenever they feel like. So I don't know how Comixology, if they work like that, but if they take something down, odds are if you don't have it downloaded, you're out of luck. So sometimes if like I bought Firestorm issue 2 for 50 cents, I can own this for the rest of my life if I want to because it's in my hand. If I buy it on my phone, you never know. If you have it downloaded, you probably be all right. But eventually, we're in a world now where you want to upgrade your device every 4 or 5 years. So once again, you own it, but you don't own it. The next one, you can't get your iPad slab. Sorry, I had to put that as a joke. So I know people that they love getting those high 9.8 candidate condition books. They love going to the CGCs, the news service, the EGMs, or whatever they're all called. They love to get those 9.8 grades back, and they love to display them and all that good stuff and have the blast trying to get your next 9.8. So obviously, if you don't have that physical media, you're not going to get stuff graded. And same thing goes for signatures. I think I seen one guy once. He wanted to get his iPad signed by a creator. I thought that was pretty funny. So just an interesting thing to think about there. And the last one, at the end of the day, you can't flip the stuff. So basically, you can't resell. So if you're buying new stuff for $4 digitally, you're paying full price for something you get the same, physically. At least maybe one day, if it's just a average book, maybe one day you can get $1 back out of that, put it in a dollar bin, sell it on an online auction, something like that. If you buy it digitally, yeah, that's it. Once the transaction's done, it's done. So those are my cons for digital support. So I guess the final question on this topic would be, to me, what do I do digitally, comic book wise? Because as you can see, I buy a lot of physical media comic books, obviously. So I do the Marvel Unlimited service. I don't use it tons, but I want to get into it more because, like I said, I don't know where I've said at this point. I want to get into Immortal Hulk, which I'm guessing since Marvel Unlimited usually posts stuff 6 months after it comes out, that run's probably going to start to be available on there. So I definitely want to read that run. So Marvel Unlimited probably will be my best way to go because it's not out in trades and hardcovers just yet, as far as I know. And the back issues, oh my God, issue 2 and up, you don't find them that often. And when you do, they're definitely more than cover price. So it's just not, cost reasonable to go on eBay and buy a run when they're all more than cover price, when I can just get unlimited for, what is it now, like $10 a month on average, and you can do that. So I do that. And then I like to, you guys know me, I love me some DC comics. Sorry, Splash, once again, but I love me some DC. So I went and did the year subscription initially for that service because, hey, I wanted to watch Titans and Young Justice. So I have that service going as well. I actually read quite a bit on that the first few months. That's how I'm going to read the new Teen Titans by Perez and Wolfman. I'm going to have to because I don't have all the issues yet, and I really want to get it read by C2E2. So that's basically my digital footprint, I guess, if you will. So sorry, I was reading Splash, but I want to dial back a bit in the chat to see if you guys had any further comments. So I saw some paragraphs going up. Let's see, we're talking about that blue wrench. We've got Mr. Unknown Comics guy. How's it going, man? He says, when I lick my finger to turn a digital page, it gets a little shock. So yeah, you might want to look into that, Mr. Unknown Comics guy. It will be a little bit of a problem. Yeah, Prowler concurred. Con can't flip digital comics. And we got one of my cohorts from the Comic Corps and Great Legends Wrestling Review. We got Comics with Bueller in the chat. How's it going, Comics with Bueller? Always nice to see you in the chat. And yeah, actually, Metarog hit on a huge point. I should have typed that one in and forgot. He says, it's no fun hunting digital comics. And that is another one I 100% agree with. Obviously, you saw my off-price books haul if you caught the early part of the video. I love digging through the dollar bins. I love seeing what I can get for 50 cents and 20 cents and, seeing what you can get cheap, silver and Bronze Age-wise in the antique shop. You can't replace that rush of finding like a really nice, awesome book you've been looking for, for like $1 or just really cheap and well priced. That rush is not there at all digitally. So there's just not that collector's goal, I guess, if you will. So I 100% concur with Metarog there. Exile State says, I use digital as a way to check out titles I wouldn't normally get. Half the time I end up going and getting the physical copy anyway. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like especially like with the Comixology formula, I noticed when I use that, a lot of the times I'll have free issue ones. So it's a great way to check out an issue one. If say it's like an image run, I love getting me some image hardcover. So if I like an issue one, I might just wait for that hardcover to come out, and you get that deluxe one on in stock trades for like 40-50% off. So I do agree with that point as well. And of course, I scrolled through everything really quick. Sometimes I just need a guy just to read the chat when you get rambling and people keep posting stuff. I don't want to miss anything good. So yep, those Batman damned 10.0s made some folks suck some wind, says Mr. Unknown Comics. So yeah, that's definitely one I need to read digitally is Batman Damned #1. All right, let's see what else we got. The one made me laugh earlier, Splash Page says, say it ain't so, not digital and not the DC word. Yeah. Splash Page's ultimate nightmare. He wakes up, he's still in the dream, and he's like, oh my God, there's a phone in my hand, and it just starts like streaming the DC app, and then he wakes up in like a cold sweat. So I love you, Splash Page. You are awesome. We got Discovery Bay Comics. What's going on, JB? Once again, it's big thanks to JB. Once again, I can't thank this guy enough. He's doing some awesome work for the community. Every single day, this guy posts like the TV guide channel. I think what I call him earlier, the human notification bell, because like he put in the Comic Core chat, is like, hey, Celebration Dave is live, and here comes like 10 people. So that people are definitely catching on to the secret that was Discovery Bay Comics. So definitely sub him up. We got Comics Misexplained in the chat. How's it going, CM? Glad you could make it into the chat. And then we've got Sanzar. He says, hello, all. Glad you could make it. All right. So let's see. I don't think so. I didn't catch it if he did. All right. So Bueller and Beyond the Blast Doors are having... I missed the question, I think. So put it one more time and tag me. It might have been about the light. Yeah, I got a new light. It's not a new camera. It's a new light, if that's what you guys were referring to. And yeah, Splash says, digital comics don't smell like old comics. We also have Gamma Comics. He says, yo, what's the word? Love some Gamma Comics. I need that Hulk #1 you got in your little thumbnail, or the giant size Hulk, sorry. So yeah, they got that time. A new light. So yeah. It's right up here. I got Chad's dryer sheet on it so it doesn't blind me. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the new light. I think it looks, at least on my end, it looks pretty dang good. All right. So nonetheless, I've got 13 minutes to cover 2 topics. So we're going to get into the next one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the digital topic. I'd like to get back into that later. So I might get some friends from the Comic Core to talk about digital stuff this weekend. So we'll see. Next up, Discovery Bay. Speaking of, glad he just hopped in the chat. He just wanted. He was wondering what I thought of the status of the Marvel movies. So I think he was specifically referencing the X-Men side, but I figured, hey, why not talk about all of it? Because there's kind of this change in the air when it comes to the MCU. Because I mean, I don't know how they could top Infinity War for me. It just had the Empire Strikes Back feel. And I know Star Wars, that's still my favorite Star Wars movie this day is Empire Strikes Back. But when it comes to Marvel, I think Infinity War, that's going to be, if they can top that, that'll be amazing. But we'll see in the next one. I just feel like going into Avengers 4, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to like that movie as much just because it's going to be like, we'll probably have to have some sort of like Thanos baby face turn, maybe the wrestling term for you guys out there. Or, somehow there's going to be like a reverse dusting. So everything just gets dusted under the rug. So we'll see. They're already showing trailers for the next Spider-Man movie. And he got, Thanos dusted at the end of the last movie. So it's a little weird right now. But nonetheless, I mean, they'll at least be decent quality movies. I'm really looking forward to Captain Marvel. Obviously, it's coming up, next month, basically. So that's going to be great. And we'll see what they have after that. It seems like there's a lot of secrets being announced. A lot of people speculating on these characters that haven't been announced yet. Also, that's what brings us to the X-Men. So, obviously with the Disney merger, X-Men, Fantastic Four, everyone's just waiting for that announcement. Uh, I, I just can't picture how they're gonna make this all work yet. So, I mean, people are like, yeah, Hugh Jackman, he's gonna be in Avengers 4. Like, do we need that though? Like, I think he's good. It's just like that. I don't want to use James Bond as a reference, but I guess it'd be like if Connery was James Bond for a long time, and then he kept being James Bond instead of Roger Moore coming along. So maybe we'll get a Roger Moore version of Wolverine. We'll see. But I think he was wanting me to talk about the two movies, Dark Phoenix and New Mutants. Dark Phoenix, like, talk about like what isn't a red flag? Like that's the ultimate red flag when you have an announcement trailer, you're saying your movie's going to be out Valentine's Day. Then by the end of the weekend of the release of that trailer, you're bumping that up 3 weeks, or I'm sorry, 3 months. Like that, what happened? It's like some exec watched this movie and they're like, no, that's bad. Don't keep it. Like put it in May. March will get it killed, or February will get it killed. So how bad is that movie? So apparently the early screenings were a train wreck. I mean, it had to have been. So we'll see. The last one wasn't that great. It was serviceable. Like it was a good popcorn movie. It wasn't X-Men 3 or Wolverine Origins bad, but there was nothing memorable about it. I could barely remember the movie. I think I've seen it in theaters and I own it on Blu-ray. I barely remember the thing. So I really hope that they get their act together. I think the cast is all right. I like McAvoy. Fassbender was great in First Class, but I don't think he's been. I just don't think he's been that well written since. And because of that, his acting, I think, is reflected. Jennifer Lawrence kind of just needs to go away from the X franchise. So if they do move these X-Men into the MCU, no Jennifer Lawrence. I love me some Jennifer Lawrence, but not in the X-Men stuff. So she kind of needs to be shelved because she don't care. She's ready to move on to the artistic movies and the good scripts, at least in her mind. So yeah, she was rough in that last one though. I like what's her name, the girl who plays Sansa on Game of Thrones. She's all right, but once again, there were parts where she was good in the last one, and there were parts it was just like watching paint dry. Maybe that was just me. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But if at the end of the day, if they do the MCU X-Men stuff, I want all new everything. I want that shiny new car set. We just Ultimate X-Men or something, if you will. I want a new Wolverine. I want a new original 5 X-Men. Definitely need a new Gambit. I don't care about dude from Friday Night Lights. Definitely don't care about Channing Tatum. He can go away. Give me new actors completely. We don't need any of these the people they got now. I definitely want a cool version of Magneto at the end of the day because he's the most important villain. That he could be like the best villain in the MCU if he's done right. Maybe second best because Doctor Doom is looming too. So that could be awesome. And then New Mutants, oh my god, like that. I bet the original cut of that movie was very interesting and cool, but studio, who knows who's had their hands on it at this point? Because obviously they did reshoots and all that stuff. So it depends which cut of that movie we get. The original like horror movie cut of that is probably really interesting. It might be a little boring, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen it, so I can't say. But the original concept sounded amazing. But just the fact that it got shelved permanently, I don't even like. It'd be cool if it arrived on Netflix one day. Will it? Should it be in theaters at this point? Yeah, probably not. I don't think anyone would really even want to see it at this point, besides maybe the people in the chat over here. So I don't know, but nonetheless, that's my thoughts on the MCU. And I do want to get into my last topic because it came from Pocan Joe. So once again, I'm going to try to put everyone's links below. But Pocan Joe, one of the best guys on Blast It or Stash It. That guy reads more current pull books than anyone I've ever seen in this community. That guy gets like everything. So if you guys want to subscribe to just a plain comic reader, a guy who likes to go to the store, get one of everything off the shelf and actually enjoy and read it, sub up Pocan Joe because this, like I said, this guy reads everything and he's a good guy. But yeah, I think he tried to throw a topic over my head. He says, So I call this the X-Men philosophy topic. He says, do a show on the enumerative induction and ipso facto that is off in the base of the X-Men storyline. Happy to send references, Pocan Joe. So basically what I read out of this is, are the X-Men really that 100% heroic at the end of the day? And I probably butchered this at this point because I've had an hour live show already, and I didn't get a chance to take more notes because once again I was fighting YouTube's live scheduler before I started. But I did just want to talk about one cool read from the X-Men because we're winding down on time here. I know we got other live shows tonight, but I've got this X-Force trade. This one was written by Craig Kyle and Chris Yost and has a combination. Actually, I think eventually Mike Choi comes on this run, but it starts off with Clayton Crane. And actually, if I remember right, sweet, I got signed by the whole creative team on the inside. So, yeah, absolutely love this creative team. But nonetheless, sometimes we question the philosophy that X-Men uses, and it's like, is everything they do heroic really at the end of the day? Because they're just kind of just looking out for themselves, which they have to. They're mutants. They're persecuted in this, wonderful Marvel world where other characters like, your Fantastic Fours and that stuff are not. So you have to kind of, when you're the X-Men, you have to get a little bit dirty to, maintain your status quo. So the reason I brought up X-Force after Pocan Joe proposed this topic is, you don't even need to involve like your Magnetos, who's the ultimate character to talk about a topic like this, in my opinion. He is the ultimate gray area guy in any universe superhero stuff, in my opinion. That makes him a phenomenal villain. But the reason I bring this up is because this is kind of like after the House of M era, where your mutant is dwindling and that type of stuff. And sorry, Splash is killing me in the chat. It's great. But in this one, you get Cyclops. He knows, there's things that the X-Men need to do that the general public would frown upon. So he basically recruits Wolverine, and he's just, he's like, I need a Black Ops team to go, take out threats, like literally just kill them, take them out. So if the Cyclops and the main X-Men team went and just started assassinating their bad guys, obviously everyone would hate mutants. So you get this covert ops team led by Wolverine. He has, Warpath on there. He has Wolfsbane, and Cyclops made Wolverine recruit X-23. So in my opinion, the X-23 aspect of the story is where you get really gritty, because essentially Cyclops is asking Wolverine to make his daughter a killer for the X-Men. So if you read this whole run, that's where it gets really dark and gritty, in my opinion. Besides the fact that the villains are fighting, I mean, there's no forgiveness for the X-Force and what they do and what gets done to them. I think eventually Domino gets put on the team too, and they eventually have to go get a healer for the team because they're always just getting beat up. But by the end of this whole run, Wolverine is just ready to throw down with Cyclops because of the things that they're asking him and X-23 to do. So I think that's what makes this run really good. Just seeing, like, it's over the course of, I think, 30 issues. You kind of see Wolverine. It just starts to wear on him. And meanwhile, you got Laura Kinney. She's just destroying people in this whole run. And Cyclops is just like, yeah, we need to do this for the sake of, mutants. And I think by the end of it, he's like, you're Magneto, basically. So you kind of see that, heel turn by Cyclops slowly happening. But yeah, I highly recommend this run if you guys want to get into more of the philosophy aspect of the X-Men. And I know sometimes they hear X-Force and you think of the Rob Liefeld days and, the early 90s. But for me, X-Force, it really shined in the late 2000s. You had this run by Craig Kyle, Chris Yost. Clayton Crane did a lot of art in this. I know the community loves him some Clayton Crane. The run that followed this was really good too, because you had Rick Remender do the Uncanny X-Force, and he had a bevy of artists that were really good there. So I highly recommend that, like, late 2000s run of X-Force, from the Kyle and Yost run all the way through the Remender run. I think it's about 50 to 60 issues total. There are 2 different omnis for it, if nothing else. And actually, I've been finding these in dollar bins too, but I have the hardcovers. So there you go. All right, so we're about to 8:30, so I will go over the chat and some last plugs one more time. All right, so I gotta scroll up to see what is going on in the chat. All right, Splashbait says Seawood is not of this world. You are seeing a hologram from the planet Newsstand. So yeah, that's the one that had me laughing earlier. Gamma Comics asked, "Do you think Tom Hardy's Venom will ever be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?" I don't know. That's a tough one because the whole Sony thing right now, that's all up in there because Sony, at first they're like, man, we really just crapped the bed with the Amazing Spider-Man in the Andrew Garfield run. So they kind of gave Spider-Man to Marvel for a little while. Don't know what's going on after Far From Home. But now they're seeing dollar signs with Venom. We're probably going to get a Venom 2. And once they get Woody Harrelson in there as Carnage, they're probably going to make a lot more money. So it just depends what kind of deal they can make. Uh, we kind of learned in this world, never say never. So I kind of hope not because I wasn't a fan of the Tom Hardy Venom. I thought it was a little weird. But I know a lot of people did like the movie, and hey, to each his own. So I personally don't, but like I said, anything's possible. Joe Ryan Comics says Gambit is most likely killed. Any future Fox stuff is done past New Mutants, if that. So yeah, I agree. That Gambit movie needs to die a death. If I'm sitting in an old folks' home, I'd be shocked by then if Gambit would even be out. So yeah, it's probably dead. Joe Ryan Comics also says, I agree. The writing wasn't great. Wasting of great actors. Logan and Deadpool are fire. So yeah, he's probably talking about the last X-Men movie I was talking about earlier. Yeah, you got to mention Logan and Deadpool. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, do you bring at least Deadpool into the fold? He's the only character I could see being put in the MCU. The problem is then you have Disney making R-rated movies? Question mark. So who knows what would happen there? But at least he's that like fourth wall breaking character, so it almost makes sense to just plug him in. So he would work, in my opinion. We got Pope Cerebus the first in the chat. How's it going? Glad you can make it. Silver's out. He said, "Great show. Thank you for joining us, Silver Age Dave. Always great to have you." We've got Hunter Thompson in the chat. How's it going, Hunter Thompson? Who else we got? Everyone saying bye to Dave. Splash Page, he's still bringing the one-liner. So he says, "A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop is the Sea Woodard Zone." Thank you for that, Splash Page. Then the Pope Cerebus comes in with the background music. So thank you for that. Let me scroll back up because once again, I keep accidentally scrolling. I'm used to the other chat interface. So once again, apologies. Joe Ryan says X-Force LOL, no. X-Men gray area, mostly yes. So there you go. Let's see, still with the Twilight Zone music. Joe Ryan does like the Remender run. Beyond the Blast Doors loves the cover of the X-Force. Yeah, that's just a sampling of those great covers too. Mr. Unknown says this is great. I have some of that X-Force for sale. Bloody variants. Oh yeah, they had a run of bloody variants too. So go Mr. Unknown Comics guy and buy some of those issues because they're really good in my opinion. Beyond the Blast Doors, David says, I want to get into X-Force because I dug the Deadpool movies. Not sure where is the best place to start. Oh yeah, and that run as well. Halfway through, I think it's during the Necrosha storyline. They get a future version of Deadpool on the team, and if I remember, I think it's just a head inside a box, like a 50 years ago or something. Like I said, it's probably been 10 years since I read the run. Like somehow, eventually, Deadpool gets his head cut off, and someone puts it in a box and buries it. And then X-Force, like they're in the future, and then they find it, and then Deadpool's on the team for a little bit. So that part was really funny and weird. All right, Tacoma Comics, what's going on? He says, just got here. First word I hear is Rob Liefeld. He is hooked. So nice. We got Nick Miller in the chat. How's it going, Nick Miller? Looks like he's got a cool, weird fantasy icon there. So that's pretty awesome. So everyone sub up Nick Miller. Glad to have him in the chat. And I think, oh, wait, we got Pope Service. He says, can we have Deadpool kill the Marvel editorial and marketing staff in a book? So, yeah, it's not too bad of an idea. We got Mr. Garrow in the chat. How's it going, Mr. Garrow? Glad to have you in the chat. And the last comment I have on my screen is from the boy who had 7 Talks comic books. He says, just got the phone with DS Comics. Dude was running me through my first CGC submission. Yeah, DS, he's a good guy, and he knows his graded books. So with that being said, looks like I'm over the 1 hour mark, so apologize for that. I believe we've got a lot of auction stuff going on in the next few days. Got the New York Warriors. Their weekly auction should be starting probably within the next hour. So sub up those guys. They have a great auction. I think Thursday's live show City. So you're going to have comics and cold ones. Always love watching those guys. Maybe we'll get some JLS comics with some Exile State. They do Thursday shows sometimes, I know as well. So they get the comic conversation. Usually it's those guys. And they have a great show as well, usually around 8:30 p.m. my time. And then Friday, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, I might be a little bit late because of work. But so far, fingers crossed. I don't have to go to any weddings this weekend. We got the Comic Core at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back on that show most likely. So 10 p.m. Eastern Comic Core. You never know what's going to happen on the Comic Core. And then Saturday, the Great Legend Wolf should be returning for his once-a-month Saturday auction. So definitely always enjoy his auctions. And then we got Brandon Stawinski just joined us up in the chat. He says, "Cowabunga, dude." So always glad to have Brandon Stawinski in the chat. He's a good guy. With that being said, I'm going to let you guys go because we're about out of time. We'll keep the tape machines rolling just in case. We got Sting. He's up in the rafters. We got Comics Miss Explain. He's saying, "Hey, Brandon." Who that saying?